This is Veteran State of Mind, and I'm your host, Geraint Jones. Before we get into the show, I have a quick word about our sponsors, and I'd appreciate if you support and check out these companies if you can. They're all either veteran-owned or work with the military, and they keep the lights on at the podcast. It takes a lot of time to put this out there, and these guys make it happen, so please go and support them like they support us. Talking of support, obviously, we do this podcast for free, but I'd like to add in a fee if I could, and that fee is, don't worry, it's not money. Just telling your friends about the podcast. If you enjoy the podcast, you get value from it, please can you make a post, tell your friends, just share the podcast around and help us to grow it. Because of the way the algorithms work on Facebook and Instagram and stuff, basically that is their way of deciding who sees what, right? And let's be honest, one day I'm probably going to say something on this podcast that's going to get me banned off of Instagram or Facebook or something. So we can still keep in touch with each other. I'd really appreciate if you could go to vsompodcast.com, sign up for the newsletter, and that way we've got person-to-person comms so that we're not relying on platforms like Facebook and Instagram, which can just wipe us out in a day if they want to, if we say the wrong thing. All right. Today's episode is made possible in part thanks to the Development Society. Get humbled with DevSoc. DevSoc is a platform for motivation, inspiration, and wavy merch. For those of you who aren't fluent in wavy, that means cool clothing and accessories. It's run by serving blokes, and they're a bit different. Wavy vibes, unusual thoughts, and stoic philosophies are what drive them to strive for the very best. Their last t-shirt release sold out in 20 minutes, so their stuff doesn't stick around. If you're looking for motivation in fitness, work, or in life itself, then check out my dudes at the Development Society, a community of like-minded people who want to grow. Get 10% off their baseline range with the code GRJ10. That's GRJ10. Stick it in on the old checkout and you get some money off and you can go and spend that money on hookers and cocaine. All right, www.devsoc.shop or at the Development Society. This episode is also brought to you in part by Altberg Boots, specialist boot makers who have been in the business for over 40 years. I'm really happy to have my favourite boot makers on as part of the podcast because I have been using them for 13 years and with good bloody reason, and that reason is that the boots look alley and they're awesome. I've had a desert pair that lasted me 3 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, and I've got a leather pair of their Warriors, which are my hill walking pair. A friend of the podcast, Dean Stott, he used Altbergs during his Special Forces selection, which I would say is a pretty strong recommendation. Altberg make boots for men and women. They have different styles, so you guys can get the right weight and the right support for your ankles, the right colour. Really can't recommend them enough. They've got civilian and military styles, and you can check them all out by going to altberg.co.uk, altberg.co.uk. Got a great episode for you today with Joe Lyne. He's known as the British Rogue on Instagram, and he is a rogue. He was out in Iraq at the same time as me. He was out in Afghanistan at the same time as me. So a lot of fighting on Operation Panther's Claw in 2009 in that fucking crazy summer out in Helmand Province. What do we talk about today? Well, Joe and I are of the very same opinion about things, which is we're quite outspoken about the way that things are handled, or rather not handled, by the MOD and the Army. But we're also of the same opinion that we really, really, really enjoyed and wanted to. And I say enjoyed, but, that's the truth of it. We both wanted to be out on tour. And, we're very similar like that. So it's a great conversation. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. So without further ado, here is Mr. Joe Lyne.
That feeling of acceptance, I can be the guy that's looking back with knowledge as my weapon. Cause it's inside of you and it's inside of me. The real killer in depression is to suffer silently. The journey's rough, the road is long. You've just got to accept you haven't got to see the whole staircase, just the first step.
Joe, how you doing, mate? Thanks for coming down.
Yeah, I'm not so mate. You?
Yes, I'm. This is a second time we try to do this, isn't it? So I'm glad it's come off, mate, because we got a lot to talk about. We're going to try and keep the blood pressure down as much as possible. I don't know if that's going to be possible. I'll just give people an idea. This is how well planned out we've got this day, is that we're going to go straight from this podcast to the gym. Because I learned on the very first few episodes when I had my mate Alex in, that as soon as we got done, we were fucking so full of fucking just pent up aggression that I thought I'm either going on a binge for 3 days or I'm going to the gym. So let's put it to good use. Mate, let's there's a few kind of things I want to talk to you about, like the big scheme of things, pictures, the big scheme kind of pictures. But let's first of all talk a bit about let's go and talk about your service and stuff, if that's cool. Let's talk about how you got into the army to begin with, and then a bit about your service and Afghanistan in particular. So give us the spiel, mate.
I joined the army when I was 16, straight from school. It's pretty much what most kids pretty much did in Oldham. There's not much else going on around there. Got to basic training. I was a bit like Private Pile. It was a bit like a young fat lesbian when I got there. And it was a bit more. Sexy. It was a bit more difficult than I planned to do. And I think I was about 4 weeks in. I thought, fuck this. I remember phoning my dad back in the days when they had the phone boxes outside before mobiles with the 20p's and queuing up. And he said, son, you've always got a bed back here, at least you give it a go. And I thought, no, fuck you, I'm not quitting. And I stuck with it.
And you joined infantry, did you?
No, I was Armoured Corps.
Nice.
Armoured Corps. So I started off in the Royal Armoured Regiment, which for all intents and purposes is about as useful as being a para, because you're never actually going to go and do your real job, do you know what I mean? It's like the para's never jumped anywhere since the 50s. And apart from a brief stint in Iraq, do you know what I mean? The Royal Armoured Regiment never used tanks. So when we went to Iraq, I was there same time as what you was. We was over there as dismounts, doing an infantry role in snatches. And then when we went to Afghan, we took over from the Marines as the ASG in the BVs and the Vikings. And then I spent probably half of that tour attached to the Light Dragoons battle group with their BRF and their SA troop. And then when I came back, all the lads, because I was on a pairing arrangement from 1 RTR to 2 RTR before the regiments merged, and all the lads who were due to fuck off back to 1 RTR, lo and behold, no one got a recommended for promotion because they wanted to give all them to their own boys. So I ended up just transferring over to Light Dragoons because I got on with them boys, and it was a better job to do. So
is that was after? So you did the tour in Afghan, and then that was after, and then you transferred after.
Yeah, I come back, did the possum, and then it was pretty much straight after that when we was on the post-op tour leave. Instead of going back, I just turned up at the Light Dragoons and went there instead.
What's the Light Dragoons use? Like, what's their day-to-day wagon? Are they in Jackals or CVRTs?
They're Jackals now. They were in CVRTs and Jackals, but now they're a full recce regiment on Jackals now.
Right. What's your opinion on the CVRT?
All right, unless you hit an IED.
I was going to say, I think for what they were made for, they were all right. But the idea of using them, I think the idea of using them in places like fucking Afghanistan was criminal.
Yeah, it's the same as the fucking Vikings, because they said, you know, they used to just always send us. We used to recce routes for the IEDD teams, and it's like...
Well, so sorry, man. Just talk through to a listener in layman's terms what a Viking is, because like they might be picturing right now you riding around on the back of big bearded manly cunts, but which is what you look like. So Joe, for those that aren't watching on the video, is his arms are too big for his shirt. There's no sleeves on the shirt. There's no sleeves on the shirt right now. I don't know why his penis is out, but
his penis is out. Sweaty.
He's got a good old beard. Putting my beard to shame right now. And he's got some pretty impressive tattoo collection going on. So yeah, you were pretty Viking looking yourself. Look like an American Viking with the.
Probably would have been safer as a Viking on a horse than what would have been in one of them BVs.
Mate, you would have been. You know what? Actually, fuck it. Right, we're going on tangent. Why didn't we use horses in Afghan?
Fuck those.
Seriously.
The Yanks did it by accident. It worked out for them.
But here's the thing, right? First World War, charging machine guns. They're like, oh, you know what's a great idea? Let's send everyone on horses. No, that wasn't a good idea. In Afghan, where it actually would have been a genuinely good idea, no, you know what I think we'll do? Put him in a tinfoil fucking armoured vehicle and send him down the same tracks. Are you cunts listening? You fucking stupid. Fucking, mate, sorry, I've gone off track before. I thought we'd last at least 20 minutes before I lost my temper.
I don't know why we didn't use tanks, because they said, it's shit tank country. Half of Afghan's fucking great tank country. Do you know what I mean? The Germans were smashing it in the fucking Leopards.
Well, I was going to say that, and the Danes and the Leopards as well, wasn't it? But the thing is, with the tanks, mate, right? All you got to do is get them onto the top of a bit of high ground and just leave them there forever.
Yeah, mate, I remember when we was doing some Overwatch, we was doing one of the... was the up Lome or the up Lavers. By the time we'd had most of the fucking fleet blown up and we took off combat operations, we were just doing the escorting of the logistics. and we was doing Overwatch, got into a fucking contact into the green zone, and then we just said, boom. Looked over, and there's 2 Leopard 2s parked on the top of those like that. Ceasefire, boys, there's no point.
It's sick. That's sick. Right, okay, let's go back in time. Let's go back to, so we got young kids listening. I get a lot of questions about, how'd you tell your parents? Do you want to join? Did you have any issues with your parents when you joined up, or was it?
No, not really.
Yeah, pretty supportive of it, were you?
Yeah, I just went and did it. I just went to the careers office, signed up. They said, "Oh, take this home for your mum and dad to sign." I was already a wizard at signing my mum's signature because I used to get out of PT lessons at school all the time because I was a fat kid, so I didn't really like doing it. So I was good at forging notes.
So hang on. So how did a fat kid want to go in the army though?
I didn't realise it was going to be that hard.
What the fuck did you think it was going to be?
I thought it was going to. I don't know.
How come you chose army over RAF and Navy?
Oh,
Apart from the fact that you're a man. Oof, shots fired.
Fuck that. It's just RAF when you wear a skill uniform for the rest of your life, don't you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't.
Much.
I mean,
got people unsubscribed.
They've got unless you're going to be a fucking fighter pilot, there's no point, is it?
Which is what everyone gets. I'm pretty sure everyone gets told that they're going to be a fighter pilot.
Yeah, and then the consolation prize is a RAF Regiment where they'll say, "Oh yeah, be a RAF Reg gunner. You like the infantry, the Air Force," and then you just have the piss taken out of you for the rest of your life.
But you're not. I don't think they even tell them that. They tell them that you're better than being in the infantry. You know, There's a couple of people listening to this. There's a bloke reached out to me recently. I didn't realise he was RAF Reg. Do you know why I didn't realise? Because he's got a sense of humour. I said to him, I was like, "You're the first RAF Reg bloke I've got who's got a sense of humour." Because usually, like, it's the same as everything. We make fucking jokes.
It's not Welsh PT guy, is it?
No.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, I've got one the same thing on Instagram. I started talking to, and I didn't realise he was RAF Reg until he said. Yeah. But he was a decent bloke till I found out.
Well, so now we know 2 of them. So they do exist. But that's the thing with them. The thing that's so funny about them is that, like, you know, like the infantry take the piss out of everyone. People take the piss out of the paras take the piss out of the hats. You know, like that's how it goes. And you have a bit of back and forth. But with them, it's like you've insulted. Yeah, but it's like you've insulted the mother or something. It's like the way that they come back on you is not with banter. It's with their oh, well, what about my mate that died on this tour? And it's like, for fuck's sake, as soon as someone brings something like that up, you're like, you are a cunt. If you're bringing dead people up to have banter, then you've just proved my point that you're a fucking lizard.
Yeah, I was doing some event security a couple of weeks ago, and there's a young kid there who started talking to me, and he was going on about it, and then he was saying about the RAF Reg, and I was like, mate, I said, just go on Google, type in RAF Regiment, and click on images. And he did it, and I said, right, I said, now try and do that for the army. I said, it's only the RAF Regiment that you can Google images and all you'll find is piss taking. Yeah. That won't happen with any other regiment.
I'll tell you what I have learnt though, mate, right, and this is, because I always think to myself, why would someone join the RAF Regiment? And I think some of them, it's just, you're 16 years old or whatever, you're impressionable, you walk in a fucking recruiting office.
Been mugged off.
And you've been mugged off. And I think then, it's probably easier to, instead of admitting to yourself that you made a bad decision, that you double down on it and you pretend you are in this elite fucking unit.
Yeah, it used to crap me up. The rare times we'd go back to Bastion for refits or to drop the front or the back half of a vehicle off after it had been blown up, and we'd tow it back. And all them cunts would be sat outside the fucking naffy, half in greens, half in deserts, drinking coffee. And you're like,
a lot of green zone around Bastion.
You're like, what are you mixing fucking combats for outside of Bastion, you prick?
Yeah, and they get away
in your Mastiff. Do you know what I mean? We're out there getting blown to fuck, and you cunts are driving around the outside of Bastion in Mastiffs.
Yeah, it's fucking weird, mate. But here's the thing I learned as well, though. This is pretty interesting, right? So I've had some young lads contact me, and they're like, I don't want to be in the RAF Reg, but they can't, like, so the RAF Reg standards of medical are different to that of the Army and, the Royal Marines. So if you've got some conditions, and I can't remember exactly what they were, and I wouldn't say anyway because, you know, I respect patient-doctor confidentiality. But basically, if you fail, like these lads want to go in the infantry, they can't. They want to go in the Royal Marines, they can't. They can get in the RAF Reg, which, to be honest, tells you everything you need to know about how it's not the same standard. No offence to those lads. But that's the only option they've got left to them. So I can see why they would go down that route, because maybe it's better than nothing. Actually, no, it's not. Go and join the French Foreign Legion or something.
Yeah.
Or go and be a cleaner in the French Foreign Legion, or go and be a maggot living under a rock. Yeah. Anything's better than RAF Reg. Sorry, guys.
I think even movement controllers get further outside of the gate than them.
I mean, the joint they do the forward air controller job. You know, you can do, but you do that through the Royal Artillery. So really, there's no excuse. I'm only joking. Young lads listening, if you do want to join the RAF Reg, we're behind you. But just don't ever contact us.
Well, we'll probably always be in front of you because you'll be that far back, you'll have to send your
Even as civvies. Even as civvies. Right. Moving on, mate. So let's talk a bit about Afghan, mate. Was your first tour? No, sorry, you did Iraq, didn't you? So Iraq, you were there, what year do you go?
End of 2006, summer 2007.
Oh, so you did Telek 9? Or was it Telek 10? Telek 9 was
9.
9. Oh, so we were
Telek 9, Herrick 10.
Right, so we were there we were the same time. Obviously, they were picking the most essences blokes for these tours. How'd you find Iraq?
A massive fucking anticlimax. Yeah. I mean, you think, like, yeah, finally, this is finally it. You know, 18, finally getting to go to fucking war. And you get out there and they just start adding all these little bits of bolt-ons to your body armour, these fucking chicken fillets and collars. And then I think the pinnacle of it was after a contact. I was a mini-me gunner and I fired about 140-something rounds. And I had to write, it was like writing lines at school. I had to write 149 rounds to account for every single fucking round I'd fired. And I was like...
Mental.
And then every time you come off the ground, it's like you had to D-bomb and then count all your rounds in. And he's like, what the fuck is this?
It was mad, because the thing is, people, like, Telek 9 as well, mate, that was fucking big fucking contacts going on Telek 9.
Yeah.
The Lanks, 2 Lanks battle group, absolutely smashed. They were in massive contacts. And like you said, having to account for every fucking round. I never fired a round in Iraq, and it's not because it was never the opportunity. It's because at the time, because I mean, I fucking wasn't a rum lad as a kid or anything like that. I've never been like, I've always been a bit like, oh shit, what's the consequences? It's only as I got older, to be honest, it's only after Afghan that I've become more of a fuck it attitude. Before that, I've always been a bit like, you know, I was not like a really naughty kid or anything like that. And in Iraq, I was more scared about getting the RMPs and the military police on my back than I was about getting shot. Like that, if you said to me, even with all the IEDs and stuff, if you said to me, what you're more afraid of, I'd have said my own fucking military police was what scared me more than the actual fucking enemy. And there was people dying every week in Iraq, mate. People don't know about it because, you know, Paras went in 2006 and everyone's like, oh yeah, there's all this fighting going on. I'm like, fuck me. Well, I'm in Iraq right now and I'm watching across the bridge to 2 Lanks getting smashed. It's like, it's happening here too. It's just not talking about it. And the reason they weren't talking about it, mate, is because they didn't want people to know that they wanted people to think Iraq was a peacekeeping mission. Fucking wasn't. Going to Basra, you had to have Challenger tanks leading the way. It was a war. It was a fucking war. They didn't want anyone to know about it.
It was a war, but you had to have one arm behind your back. At least we had a bit of leeway in Afghan.
It was 2 arms behind your back, and blindfolded, and a cock in your mouth. That's what it fucking was, mate.
Waiting for the one in your ass.
Yeah. Fucking jammed in there with a fucking fist. Like it was nuts, mate. It was everything. It was everything that you wanted dangled in front of you, and then but then you weren't allowed it, if you know what I mean. Like there was a fucking enemy there who wanted, and they'd come out to scrap. And like I'm saying, I'm not taking away from there's the Staffords out there, the rifles out there. You know, there's fucking Challenger tanks out there. You don't have Challenger tanks leading a fucking convoy for the shits and giggles. You do it because they're the only things that could take the IEDs. You know, and it fucks me off, mate, that it's not known. Because I can remember coming back on R&R from Telek 10, because I did the back-to-back tours. Yeah, because I'm fucking nails. And this girl I was in school with, who I always fancied, I thought, oh, here's the chance. War hero now, aren't I? Fucking, I bet she's fucking moist. And she's like, oh, I know you've been away and stuff. Are you in Afghanistan? I'm like, no, I was in Iraq. She goes, oh, it's all right there, isn't it? I was like, and that is, since that point is where I've always had a hate of the news, to be honest. I think we've just traced back, psychoanalyzed why I hate it, denied me the pussy.
I mean, I put a meme on my Instagram not so long back, and it's a picture of Afghan, and it's got some boys on the ground and then some cunts drinking coffee in a coffee shop, and it says experiences may vary.
Yeah.
And it is, and it was the same with Iraq. I mean, there's a lot of cunts just sat around dossing in coffee shops doing fuck all down the Danish PX and that.
Iraq was a weird one though, mate, because it's like, even if you were like, so there's some lads that lived in like the OSB and stuff who obviously like the P-Jock, you know, they had like pretty shitty living conditions for the majority of the tour. But then you could be in the Cobb, you know, at the airbase, and you could have from the daytime, you could have a very chill thing. You could have a coffee, or you know, you could have your coffee and your milkshakes. But then that night, you might be in a massive contact. And it was weird. I almost think it's a bit like the bomber crews in World War II. It's like you have a part of the day where you're super chilled. All right, maybe some rockets come in, but generally the chances of the rocket landing on you. I mean, my favorite. I had a rocket go through my room in Telek 9, so I was like, well, the chances of it ever landing on me again now tiny, aren't they?
Yeah.
Once it's happened once, it's probably not going to happen again. It's kind of like how I think with my mate Paul de Gelder that's been on the podcast, who the one who got attacked by a shark. I think, well, if it's happened to my mate, it's probably not going to happen to me now. So I'm a bit more all right about going in the ocean. But yeah, point being, it was like you could be really safe pretty much in the fucking COP. But then that night you go into the city, it's really dangerous for that period. And then you're back in the COP and you can pretty much safely go to bed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I had the unluckiest fucking wounding in Iraq. Like 4 days before I was due to come home, I was on in one of the Sangas at the coalition base, and he's right next to where the overflow where they dumped all the shit into, and then when it rained, it'd overflow out.
Gopping.
And this fucking 107 came in and blew me halfway across the fucking Sanga. It burnt me airways, and I'm fucking gasping breath. But all the shit and dust was literally human shit. So the infection was there for about 10 months after that.
Oh, honky. I tell you what,
I was literally full of shit.
What Sanga were you in? What part of camp?
It was Sanga T6.
Can you remember what part of camp that was? Because there's a lot of fucking Sangas on that place. There's a lot of rockets landed. A lot of rockets landed on.
It's where we went when we shut down Shaiba, because we was the last ones to leave Shaiba. I remember we was flying out in the helicopter as all the Chogies was coming through the fence to try and get everything.
Same when we left Basra Palace, mate. We were the last ones out of Basra Palace.
It was near where they built the new detention centre.
Yeah, Camp Charlie, was it?
That's it, Camp Charlie.
Yeah, I've lived there, mate.
Because we
it's
did.
Nice to know we both masturbated in the same fucking shit.
Yeah, at 54 degrees with a stench of shit.
Oh, mate. Yeah.
You can come then, you can come anywhere.
That's true, mate. I made a man out of my penis, that did. Yeah, mate, yeah, because we had the same. I don't know. I think Camp Charlie might have been easier for them to hit, because we had a few hit there on Telek 10. And there's one landed right in the middle of the camp, and it set fire to the gym and it set fire to the QMs. And no one ran in to help any one of the QMs. They were all running into the gym to rescue as much fucking gear as they could out of there. Like, people risking their lives.
Was that the one in 2007 where
yeah.
it was the first time where the RAF fucking fire brigade actually got to ever go and do the job?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. Or I was in a Sanga just watching like lads just running in and running into the
They
blaze.
made a big deal of it, and loads of them got fucking citations for medals and shit. And it's like, hang on a minute, you got boys going out every fucking day fighting,
and they go from fighting a fire.
And you put one fire out, which is your only fucking job,
hell.
and you all get citations for it.
You had one job, Carl. Yeah. But mind you, mate, that's why. Okay, I'm going to go back onto another RAF Regiment story. This one, shout out Mo Maloney, because I know he's going to fucking enjoy this one. So when we were in Afghan, we were you know what it's like. You've got 2 copies of fucking Nuts and Zoo, which everyone has nutted over, and this thing is harder than steel. The pages at this point, and one of the lads is flicking through, and then you just hear, "What the fuck?" So you go over and see what's going on, and the RAF Regiment had taken out a 2-page advert. Right? And they were telling the story about how they'd gone into this big fight with the fucking enemy. And it was a Telek 10 one. And what had happened was...
Oh, the one on the bridge with the mortar team?
Well, it was... so it's by... I think it was Green 21, by towards Karma Ali area. Towards Karma Ali area by the arches on the road there. And basically what had happened is they'd gone out of their... They'd strayed out of their AO in their Wimmicks or whatever. Probably because they fucking lost. They got into contact, and then my company was QRF, we'd gone out and broke the contact, right? No mention of that. No mention of that. No mention of the company of warriors turning up in the story. It was just about how they fucked up. They'd driven a Wimmick into the ditch, and then the fucking Jaish Mahdi had come out and lit them up. And I just thought, like, I mean, one of the things I want to talk today about is propaganda and lies and stuff. But it was like, okay, there were some facts in there that's true. Yes, they'd been in a contact in that area, but they'd admitted the fact that they weren't supposed to be in that area. They'd admitted the fact that they'd got a wagon stuck, and that's why the contact had kicked off. And they admitted the fact that someone else had to come and bail them out to break the contact. And I mean, if we are one big team, why don't you fucking say that? Yeah. Why don't you say we held the enemy off and then the fucking cavalry arrived? No, it's none of that. And the interesting thing was I noticed it wasn't a story that Nuts had ran. It wasn't like a journalist. It was a paid ad. Because if you look down in the bottom, it was like paid for by the Royal Air Force or whatever. It was an advertisement. And they just they basically taken a couple of facts and then made up total bollocks. This is why nobody likes you.
You bunch of cunts.
Yeah. Anyway. Fuck, but here's the thing, mate. You can't tell Telic 9's top 10 stories without coming back to slagging the RAF Regiment off because they're just involved in so many.
I think didn't it get to a point on Telic 9 they got took off fucking base security and the RMPs had to take it over?
Well, I don't know, because the job I did on Telic 9 was mostly that. I did, so I went there with like this composite force protection company, and I was quite lucky that I got kind of cut away to ATO and Wiz for quite a bit of it. So it was kind of working with them. But a lot of my tour on Telic 9, mate, was spent stagging the fuck on. But then we also did patrols. We did patrols in the AO that the RAF Regiment had. And it sucked. I didn't want to be there. And you know what? I'm sure there's some lads in the RAF Regiment that didn't want to be there either. Especially when the worst bit about it, mate, was being in a fucking Sangha and you can see the big contact going on and you just sat there watching it. That's the worst.
Or when you was in Shibre and you stand on the Sangas staring at Azerbaijan watching the mortars go off,
yeah,
and then report, and then the alarm will go off, and then you just have to slump down and wait for them to land on you.
The thing is though, mate, I'm a bit of a pervert because I'd much rather see someone shooting at me and be under contact than have to watch someone else be in contact. Just having to watch, because I'd rather have been at home and just not knowing it was going on. But being there, I think it's like being in. Imagine all your life you've wanted to be a footballer, and then you get to the World Cup final, and they leave you on the bench. No, actually, they give you a bag of balls to hold.
It's like going dogging and having to stand at a car park window, watching someone else have sex in the car. You just rack one off at the door.
But at least you get to rack one off. This would be that you don't even get to fucking like the equivalent of this, mate, is that you just have to watch. You got your hands taped together, and then someone comes over and inspects your fucking boots and gives you an ag eye for not having the right flashes on. That's the equivalent of it. Yeah. So overall, then, mate, Iraq didn't really wet your whistle, no?
No, it was a big anticlimax.
Yeah.
I was still gagging for more when I came back.
Yeah.
I was still keen as mustard.
Gagging for it, yeah.
Yeah, I was keen as mustard. Whereas I come back from Afghan, it was.
So go on then, right. So all right, let me get my pen and paper out here. So you come back in 2007. So you were in Iraq. So you've got back. So you probably go straight back in the pre-deployment cycle then, do you?
Pretty much, yeah. I come back, did a batters.
Tell people what batters is, because they'll probably think, consider what you talk about, they'll probably think batters means dirty hood or something like that. So what's a batters?
No, it's just wanking in the cold in Canada. When you can't even surface layer shit because the ground's that fucking frozen on Medman 5.
So what cause? Just tell people a bit more about what batters is then.
It's a British Army Training Unit, Suffield. It's a big training area about the same size as Wales in Canada, where you go and sort of go back in time to the Cold War and do Cold War tactics that are never going to get used.
Yeah. Go and get your Cold War training in, and then go and do your PDT for Afghan and unlearn everything you've just learned.
Go and learn all this to then immediately go and unlearn it all again.
Yeah. Classic.
On the bus, off the bus.
Yeah. And no horses.
No horses.
Fucking hell.
Well, that was the thing, because at the end of it, because I got put on the pairing arrangement to go out to Afghan, I didn't even get to ride the horses, because when everyone else fucked off to go and do adventure training, I flew back to the UK to go and start PDT.
So just to give people an idea of what goes on a batters then, these are giant fucking exercises, aren't they, involving, you out there with a couple of battalions?
Yeah, well, we was out there on Challenger 2s.
Right, all right. So you actually got to be in your sallies?
Yeah.
So you really were unlearning everything?
yeah. So I just went and practiced that theoretical job that we never got to do.
Yeah. And
it's 4 weeks firepower and then 4 weeks doing the big laser quest.
That must be quite fun though, Charlie.
The live fire 4 weeks is good. The rest of it's just shit.
What was your job in the tank?
I started off as a gunner, then I was a driver, and then I was a loader.
So you do gunner first? Is that how it usually works?
No, most people normally do driver first, but there was a shortage of gunners when I was going through phase 2 training, so I got put on a gunnery course.
So you do drive. So usually it's driver, then
gunner, then operator, and then commander.
So what's the difference between gunner and operator?
One's a gunner. Oh, the gunner and operator. The operator's the one who loads a gun. Because on British tanks, it's 3-piece ammunition, so you need a loader.
Nice.
Whereas like things like the Leopards have got auto loaders on them, where the gun does itself. A bit like the new Warrior with the auto.
That job sounds pretty boring though. It's been a fucking loader.
No, it's good because there's a challenge because there's like a sort of set standard. If you're a really good loader, then you can have 3 HESH rounds on the go at once. You can have 1 landing on the target, 1 going through the air, and 1 just leaving the barrel.
So it's a skill to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of skill, and it's dangerous as fuck inside a tank because you're standing there and you've got the breech in front of you, and that's bouncing up and down. Yeah. So if you trip forward in that, you're going to get smashed. And then the whole of the rest of the tank moves around you. So if you get a limb anywhere outside of that cage,
turret monster's fucking taking it.
Honking. Yeah. But it's like, it's not like doing you catch your boot in a CVRT and you're like, oh, fucking hell, Travis right a bit, Charlie 2,
it's gone.
It's gone.
Ugh.
There's no getting that fucker back.
Yeah. Must be hard fizz work.
Yeah, it is, especially when you do it and your hands get cut to fuck. So by the time, when I went
why is that then?
Because all around the edge of the practice HESH rounds, the shush P rounds, they've like got a brass collar that engages into the rifling because the British tanks still have got a rifled barrel.
Nice.
And they're always quite sharp, so you cut your fingers on them, and then you end up getting your corners of your fingers start peeling because it's so cold and you're bashing your fingers off everything all the time. So by the end of it, you're getting your driver or your gunner to tie your bootlaces and stuff for you because you're just fucked by the end of it. Yeah, gives a wank with your bum.
So, yeah, figures about challenges, right? Because like I say, we had them in Iraq and we'd have them in front of us before we went into the city and stuff. And the fucking noise from those things is incredible. Like, to me, mate, that's one thing I always miss. Like, one of the things I miss, like, I preferred Afghan over Iraq, but one of the things that you couldn't beat about Iraq was, like, especially when we were going to be the lead platoon out, you stand up on the back of your Warrior and you look back down this line of, like, Warrior after Warrior after Warrior, and you got the Charlies in front of you, and you're just like, fucking bonus city. Yeah. Like, mate, to see all that firepower. And that's what was so frustrating, because you're like, the enemy's in the city. You're like, let's just get online and go and fucking smash
them. But you can't use any of it.
Even if we go in there, well, I mean, we did. We had like fucking our battalion, like, some of the lads. I know some of the lads used to come in guns empty on those Warriors because, there was such big contacts. But then, I mean, it's crazy. Like, some of the lads, one of the lads, Lee Reese, he calls it, like, he said to me, it's gunner's war. And it's like, if you're a Warrior gunner, you might have been putting down a lot of fucking fire. But then if you're one of the lads sitting in the back, you might not be fucking putting down anything.
Yeah, that was the same for us in Afghan on the Vikings for the drivers, do you know what I mean? They didn't get to do fuck all, but if you was a commander, you got all the trigger time.
Yeah. But, like, to see all that awesome fucking firepower lined up, and it was really frustrating for us because it's like, we knew the enemy, you knew which areas had more of the fucking bad guys in than good. And you just wanted to, like, hey, look. And this wasn't all the lads. To be fair, there was lads there. They joined before it had really kicked off. And they weren't... Because, like, there's a lot of lads who went on tours the years we went, who they joined in 2006, 2007, because they wanted to get trigger time. There was still lads in 2006, 2007, who they joined before that. They never expected these fucking things to be happening. And they didn't want to do it. But there was a lot of lads who, like, we were like, look, just fucking put us in the fucking trucks, send us into these areas, and fucking leave us there until we've killed all the bad guys. Like, that's what we wanted to do. And it fucking pisses me off that we didn't do it. I'm so fucking pissed off. Still, and I always fucking will be. I keep telling myself I've got over it. I haven't. I'm fucking pissed off. Mate, why couldn't we just go in there and fucking kill bad guys? Ah.
Yeah, Iraq was shit. But then again, reading through your book and your experiences of Afghan...
Brothers announced by Geraint Jones.
I mean, our tours in Afghan were quite different, which was down to the hierarchies, attitudes. Like, when we first started off, we had a cavalry officer who's our officer commanding the ROC, Major Charlie Burbridge. What a fucking bloke. Do you know what I mean? Who goes to war in brogues? Do you know what I mean? The guy was a fucking legend. All he wanted to do was kill everything. He just didn't give a fuck. All he cared about was the boys.
Killing the enemy, we just point out. He cared about killing the enemy before anyone starts crying into your milk.
On you bitty. But, yeah, all he cared about was the boys and just fucking smashing everything. And that was pretty much the attitude we went out there. And we went out there, when we took over from the Marines, I remember when we did the fucking Viking course with the Marines down at Bovington, and they started going on to us saying they're going to teach us about armoured warfare, and it's like, you do realise we're the first ever fucking regiment to use armour, don't you? Do you know what I mean? There's not anything you're going to teach in armoured warfare, do you know what I mean? Fuck off with your cabbage patch heads. And then when we got out
we just go insult everyone. It's fuck.
Yeah, and then when we got out there, the Marines like, oh, you need to do it this, you need to do it like that. Oh, yeah, all right, then we'll just do it our own way. Cheers for that. So we just ripped all the seats out the front because you only need a driver's seat. The fuck do you need the other seats for? Yeah. And then we just got one of our armourers to start putting in lashing points, and we just filled the whole of the front up with fucking ammo tins, debombed it. We got the GMG tins and put them on instead of the 200 round boxes because you could fit 1,000 rounds of link together in a GMG tin. Most of us fucked off the 50 cals and the GMGs because they're a bag of wank and they're always stopping, and we just all went for the gympers.
Is that down to the weapon, do you reckon, or do you reckon it's down to the ammunition? Because I've heard, what I've been told is that the batches of ammunition they had, certain batches of ammunition were a lot more prone to stoppaging than the other, and obviously it goes without saying the MOD had bought the cheapest fucking...
Yeah, because I mean, the American ones, they used to sing all day. They never seemed to get stoppages. Do you remember?
We had 250 cals, mate, and I think one of them just didn't work, full stop, and then the other one got taken out by an RPG. But I don't think they hardly ever got used. And to be honest, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a fucking jimpy gunner, I'm saying because I just think the GPMG is the best weapon system in the fucking world.
Hands down.
And it should be. I'm so happy to see that they've brought it back. But again, it begs the question, who was the fucking tube who took the fucking jimpy out of the fucking platoons in the first place? Because... It was like, I think if you talk to anyone in the Falklands, they'll tell you it was the Jimpies that did the fucking job in the Falklands, because otherwise they wouldn't have had the fucking suppression fire to get. You're not walking across the Falklands with a fucking 50 cal on your back. No. So the Jimpies did the job there. And then we all those other little fucking wars and stuff that were going on in the 60s, 70s, you know, like Aden and all that. Jimpies did the job. And then all of a sudden, someone's got the genius idea of getting rid of the fucking Jimpies. And then after and it wasn't even like straight away they brought it back at section level. It's like when Afghans finished, they're then like, oh, let's bring Jimpies back. No fucking shit. Who makes these decisions, mate?
Well, that's where you get them limpets joining the fucking infantry, man. There's no fucking brains, is there?
Fucking...
they never took him out of the Armoured Corps. Bread and butter weapon in the Armoured Corps.
I tell you who's making these decisions, mate. It's not someone that's ever carried a Jimpy, put it that way. Because if you carried a Jimpy, if you've been in contact with a Jimpy, right, you know what was the most valuable weapon system in that contact. It was a fucking Jimpy.
Yeah.
The problem was, mate, like in between the Falklands and Afghan, is none of the people who are making decisions had ever been in contacts and stuff, and they've never seen the actual... They've got their own little fucking ideas going on. Well, your ideas are great, Shag, but you've never been in contact, so you...
Well, to be fair, I mean, even in fucking Afghan, them cunts in Puzzle Palace, I don't think they'd ever fucking...
But I think what's happening now, mate, is you've got... Imagine someone's a platoon commander in Afghan in 2006, or, sorry, let's say an OC, they're now in the positions where they can influence policy a bit more.
The kit seems to be getting better, what I'm looking at.
It does, yeah.
Because I remember watching a programme a few years back called How the MOD Wastes Its Billions. And it was like the one with...
How the fuck did you get through that without a heart attack?
I didn't. I was fucking screaming and shouting all the way through. And there was this fucking Brigadier Knob Cheese who were basically...
I think I met him.
He was responsible for the fucking... the A2. And instead of going with Colt and get the M4 for about $300 and something per unit, he then went and spent £700 to have the internal working parts upgraded by Heckler and Koch, and then lo and behold, when he retired, he was on the directors board at Heckler and Koch.
Was he? Mate, I gotta say, I am staggered by that revelation.
And then you then look into all these other shit decisions throughout history, like the LSW and things
Crow Cannon,
and you
for those in the know.
And you think, fuck me, do you know what I mean? It's so fucking corrupt. But now they seem to be looking at guys and going, do you know what? Everyone buys these boots, so why don't we just issue them fucking boots? Everyone buys these sort of day sacks, why don't we just issue them fucking day sacks?
Mental, isn't it? Look, man, if you've been on a... This should just be fucking common sense and law. If you've been on part of a committee or anything to do with procurement and buying kit for the army, you should never be allowed to have any financial involvement with that company.
No.
Not buying stocks, not buying shares, especially not being a fucking director who turns up for a couple of meetings a year and gets 50 grand in his pocket.
The thing is,
fuck off.
In any other fucking place in the fucking world, you won't be able to, because they say, no, it's conflict of interest. You can't work here because it's a conflict of interest. But they just feather the fucking nest.
How many, okay, here's one for me. Without going into details, I know for a fact that body armour has caused injuries because the zip was at the top of the plate and not the bottom, and that therefore gave way, right? How is it you're making body armour to go into areas where there's IEDs, that body armour has never been trialled with an IED blast underneath it to see what would happen to that plate and what would happen to the person wearing it? That says to me that either A, because like the thing is, mate, they started changing them around. They got rid of the zip, and it started becoming a... Did you see the ones with the studs?
And it just looked like you were fucking pregnant. I refused to wear that one, battlefield fashion and all that.
Yeah, but the thing is, mate, the point being that they did come in with plates at the bottom because so many plates were coming out the top. They wouldn't have changed it otherwise. But how did that get out there? We were in a rush to get it. Oh, you didn't have one day to trial it. Fuck off.
It's just saying, like I was saying before with the Vikings, now the articulated BV vehicles that were originally intended for getting around Norway in Arctic conditions, and they basically bolted a load of applique ceramic armour on the sides of an RPG cages, and I said, right, these will be good to use in Afghan. And they were shit hot for the ground we was picking to dodge IDs. But then they were saying, oh yeah, we'll send them first because they've got a V-shaped hull. They weren't a fucking V-shaped hull, it was just built for wading.
V-shaped hull,
so
like the kind of like a teaspoon, the bottom of a teaspoon shape, like.
Yeah, so it was flat at the bottom and then came off at an angle just for when it's wading through water. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But them things had no armour underneath, so when they got hit by an IED, they just used to peel like a fucking bean tin.
To be honest, mate, that's pretty much all tracked vehicles that were in Afghan because they're all Cold War. So any vehicle that's been made for the Cold War has been made, like the Warrior, mate. Those things, I've seen them, especially with the chopper on, they'll shrug off, they can shrug off, they did get penetrated, but they can shrug off EFPs, like explosively formed projectiles or penetrators, depending on who you talk to. But point being that they fucking, like, I think Warriors for Iraq, Warriors were brilliant. I really believe that. For Afghan, you've got the ground clearance of my fucking saggy ballsack, and fucking, they just don't, there's no dispersion of blast whatsoever. And the same with the BVs, the same with the scimitars. They were great for what they were designed for. And I'm not saying that, like, when I'm like, we shouldn't use them in Afghan, it doesn't mean we should not use them anywhere, and doesn't mean we should not use them in certain selected roles. Like
they eventually changed the Viking.
Have they?
Yeah, they swapped it for the Warthog, which is basically like the Viking on steroids, which had a proper V-shaped hull.
Right.
After our tour, they were kicking the bollocks to us. At the end of our tour, we had to start de-armouring the bottom, ready for all these new armour plates that got delivered, because we had to fit the new Under Armour for the guys who was taking on the next tour.
That's always how it goes, though. The end of our tour, mate, we got all the spare parts for the Warriors that we'd asked for.
Yeah,
all tour. You know, that's just how that's how the fucking army's mentality works. You know, I meant like little things as well, like when we were in Iraq and we had to retrack the Warriors. Or repad them. Sometimes, you know, you'd go out all night and then in the day, instead of being able to get any rest or do rehearsals or anything like that, you've got to take, well, not even track bashing, because track bashing has to get done, but they'd make us take the pads off the tracks and then repad them. And that takes all fucking day in the heat because there's nowhere undercover to do it.
Well, that takes just as long as track bashing sometimes.
Well, no, it takes longer, mate, because you've got to break the track, then you've got to take everything off, and they've got all this encrusted dust on. And okay, it will save the MOD some money, but how about saving the lads all day in the sun before they go out again that night and actually letting them get some fucking kip? Like little things like that, mate. I just think, like, when you see how much money is thrown away in this fucking country, I'm like that's the time that maybe, like, hey, you know what? Like, send those tracks away to get repadded somewhere else. Like, the lads have got a track bash. That's how it is. That's fine. But, like, these little things that could, like, that could be, because the thing is, mate, that could make the difference between someone being alert that night to the point where it saves a life, or so tired that they miss something and die. That's why it matters to me.
Yeah. I mean, the things what gripped my shit the most, even more than that, was like in the book when you're going on about Minden and saying how if they'd just put a checkpoint, then that heavily IED pass would never run. And it was the same down Nad Ali. I think it was Silab. Yeah, down at Silab. There was no eyes on at the only crossing point, and it wasn't until 9 fucking blokes had died that they finally put an engineered bridge straight across where it was impassable by vehicles, and they put an engineered bridge straight across, straight into Silab. But it took 9 boys to die on that fucking wadi.
Same bit, mate.
In the exact same bit, on the exact same strikes. You got the the overlay map, and it was just fucking strike after strike on the same fucking point.
So, and again, mate, I'm sure you remember in Iraq it was the same. I remember Green 19. I used to shit my pants going through that all the time because a few people had died on Green 19, which was like a junction. You know, these things, you do need to get on the ground, right? So flying around in helicopters all the time is not the answer. However, the lack of helicopters that we had in Afghanistan was criminal. Like, absolutely fucking criminal. I mean, most of the time, I'm sure you had the same. You got to get the Americans to come and fucking pick up casualties.
Yeah. Well, we did. Well, if we're going to start on the cover-up fucking saga.
Right, let's fucking start on it, mate, because
we had one where we had a big IED strike. And without naming the two people who got killed, they wouldn't come in. Or the helicopter did a brief pass, but because it was under contact, then left, but only took bits of the body parts. But because the floor plate had completely peeled up, it had pretty much cut these two boys in half. And so I ended up carrying the body bags in my vehicle in the back of it to push on until we got out of the area. But we didn't get out of the area because the front vehicle, as was leading off, ended up breaking down. It was just one of them, everything that could go wrong went wrong. Two of the three vehicles got broke down, and all three vehicles ended up losing comms. And we were stuck there then for just short of 6 days. And during that time, we was getting contacted, and the Welsh thought we was up with the Welsh guards. They thought we was up with our lot, and our lot thought we was still down with them. And we were stuck.
You had no comms.
And we were stuck in the middle. And it got to the point on the last day where me and one of the boys was going to draw short straws because we were the two commanders, and we was going to draw short straws. Who was going to do the dash for Dunkirk, the 1,000 metres or so up to the next point, because they were hearing the contacts and they were thinking it was the Welsh, and then the Welsh hearing it, they were thinking it was our lot up at...
Could you hear them on the comms, or could you? Or was
no,
it
we had nothing. All the radios were fucking dead.
Right.
And then obviously the stink of these boys in the back of the vehicle.
Jesus.
And then we eventually got towed out, fixed up, and drove back, and then we had to do a fucking gruelling move back to Bastion with the vehicles keep overheating because they're towing each other, and we eventually got there. And this is a stink of it, though, because we dropped them bodies off then with the RMPs. But there was never any interview with SIB, nothing to do with any inquests or fuck all like that, because it all got completely fucking covered up because it wouldn't have looked good or sounded good to say, oh, your husband, your son...
Yeah, has been in the back of a truck
has been in the back of a truck for 6 days because they thought that they'd been picked up valiantly on a fucking helicopter with everything that they could have done. It's like, when the truth was, the helicopter wouldn't come back in.
Yeah. And the thing is, mate, as well, like, I don't think you're slagging off the helicopter crews here, because the fact is, we had so little. Okay, I'm gonna backtrack a little bit here. So 2006, I was fucking really fucking privileged to work on the book No Way Out with Major Adnan Jawet, which is about the Easy Company, which was a composite company basically, which were totally under strength, Royal Irish and Paras, who basically were under fucking constant attack in Musakala for weeks. They had the same problem, mate. They had bodies that they couldn't get out because of the threat, and they just couldn't, because like even when they had Cat A casualties, which is the worst kind of casualties, it was so hard to bring in the Mercs, because one of the Chinooks came in to pick him up and literally got bracketed end to end by RPGs. Like, how it missed him was a miracle, and that was, would have been a total disaster. And these Chinooks were like getting fucking shot to pieces, kind of coming in, and it was because of the location of the district centre was the worst possible. Like, it had overlooking, like there was positions, the enemy positions were overlooking it. But because some Afghan governor wanted it held, the British wouldn't allow the company to move. So it was like a political game there. So what happened was, in order to be able to get their Cat A casualties out, they had to bomb the fucking shit out of the town to fucking keep the Taliban suppressed so they could get the people out. Now, some people are saying, oh, well, great, that's what you should do to get casualties out. But let's just remember why we're there. In theory, we're there to help the Afghan people. So if you have to bomb somebody's town to bits to get one of our casualties out, I would fucking say to you, are we fucking helping the people we came in? It's like, oh yeah, we've come to help you. Now watch us bomb the fuck out of your town to get a casualty out. So that was 2006. And in 2006, there wasn't enough fucking helicopters to get all the guys out at once. So if you had an incident one place, they had to prioritise the MERT, which is the medical emergency response team, they had to prioritise them going to that area over the other because they couldn't go, oh, well, no dramas. We'll send one to fucking Nadi Ali and we'll send one to Sangin. Not a big deal. They've got ones they've got to go, right, we're going to redirect you to go to Sangin because their Cat A casualty is worse than their Cat A casualty. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're literally having to ask doctors on the ground, right, how long do you think this lad's got? Do you reckon he can hang on for half an hour? Right, this lad's bleeding out. He's got 10 minutes. We'll go to him first.
The shocking thing was as well is there were shitloads of Merlins in Iraq, but they didn't start bringing Merlins into Afghanistan until the end of 2009.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, mate. So my thing about the Merts, though, is like, we were in the same position in 2010 still of this helicopter. So we're talking, this has been going on for 4 years at this point. If you haven't got the tools to do the job, don't go and do the job. Like, just don't do it. How can it be that we're in the same fucking position 4 years later? And the thing is, mate, when we were in when 16 Air Assault went in 2006, there was a lot less people there, and we've still got the same problem, but we've added more people to the mix in 2009. It's like, hang on, what the fuck is going on here? And my thing, mate, right? If right now, so we're recording a shout out, Audio Cafe, Koi Poif, and our mate Peter, who's producing the show, right? If I go and take a piss later, and a giant fucking crocodile jumps out of the toilet and attacks my pee-pee, right? I am going to sue Peter for not checking that toilet in his establishment. In his establishment, but on a serious note, you know, we're recording in here. If me or Joe got electrocuted in here, Peter's going to be liable for that because it's his business, it's his operation, right? How is it that where there's all this fucking neglect from the upper levels and no one is held responsible? If you or I were in a Sangha, mate, and we had the fucking ND, we would fucking get fined a month's pay, right? But you can have a fucking plan which involves everybody getting fucking killed and nothing's going to fucking happen to you. Explain that to me, mate. You can't explain it, no one can explain it. You bunch of cunts who make those decisions.
It's the fucking army politics for you, do you know what I mean?
Fuck.
It's like when we were stranded for them days, I tried to fucking put forward some of my boys, because bearing in mind...
You mean for citations now?
Yeah, so bearing in mind one of the bodies was friends that some of these young lads have been through basic training with, phase 2 with, and they're having to sit there and smell the fucking friend because his body bags had been ripped and that when we threw him in, because obviously we were in a fucking hurry to get out.
In a contact, yeah.
And it was like, oh no, well, there's no officer present. And if there would have been a fucking officer present, he would have fucking got it.
Well, yeah, of course, mate. But you know what that said? You know what that says to the lads, right? That says to the lads, we don't trust you to do citations. You lads, you're all right to get killed. You're all right to fight. We trust you. We trust you with that, but we're not going to trust you with saying who deserves the reward. How fucking...
You can be a 21-year-old section commander, stranded, and hold your own. Yeah. You can't fucking write a piece of paper, though, can you, fuck?
No. Mate, I mean, how disparaging is that to say, but go, oh, this lad, he went to university and he's an officer. We trust what he says. Fuck off with your fucking, like, class system bullshit.
It is. That's exactly what it is.
Which is still fucking... We have a fucking same class system going on we had in fucking Waterloo, mate.
This is what they go on about now, and all this fucking equal opportunities bullshit in the army. And they've addressed everything from fucking transgender to people self-identifying as a fucking panda's foot. But one thing that they've never fucking tackled is this fucking class system. Yeah. It's never been dealt with, and it's always been there. It's always been much worse than any sexism, much worse than any fucking racism. It's always been there, and it always will be there.
And this doesn't
and
mean...
it completely gets fucking denied.
Yeah. And this doesn't mean that if you went to Harrow or Eton, it doesn't mean you can't be a great officer. You can be. I'm not saying that, but the idea that you can't be a good officer if you come from a council estate and you didn't get your fucking GCSEs, that's fucking ridiculous. Ridiculous, mate. And, like, okay, they go, oh, well, you can get your LE commission and stuff. You're not a platoon commander or anything at that point. You're a fucking QM somewhere, or you're working in Brecon in an office or something. You're not platoon commander.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it summed up when I on Instagram when I sent you that copy of that annual report I had, the last one for Afghan, and he went on to say, my strengths were my courage, leadership, tactical ability, that nervous subordinates had looked to me, and he went on like that. And then at the end of it, it said, but it can be abrasive, and he sits 23 out of 34. of the commanders. So I was in the bottom third. Yet all the attributes would surely be what you'd want to combat soldier.
It's because you're
to
probably
have.
gobby, mate, to be honest. And that's the thing. Like, they don't like people questioning their orders, which, to be honest, there is a fine line between... The thing is, right, if you're a leader, and this is a leader in anything, if people are questioning your stuff, you have to ask yourself, is it because I'm not explaining myself properly? So it might not be about the people below you being gobby. It might be that you're just not explaining things well enough. And a good leader, mate, should be people shouldn't need to be gobby because you should be asking for those questions in the first place.
When they get fucking embarrassed, because when Major Burbridge is a fucking hero to the guys, I mean, you'd have followed that cunt into a killing zone. Do you know what I mean? He was a legend. And then this new fucker come over, who ironically was named Major War.
No way.
It was the
fuck.
It was the least everything, every fucking single bit of it, anything close to a fight. But oh no, do you know what I mean? Charlie Burbridge was like, yeah, that's an acceptable risk at war. Do you know what I mean? He's not putting anyone in negligible danger, but it's an acceptable risk because we're at fucking war. It's what we do. But Major War, no chance. Well, I was leading a 130 vehicle convoy on the break-off point to go up to Sangin to do a resupply, or the fucking logistics babysitting them from point to point. And it come down from the Danish PX, when you come down the A1 and there's an A&A base, when you break off into the desert there. And he said, no, we're not going to go there, we're going to go through the village. And I said, you can't get through the village. I said, I've done this several times. We always break off at the A&A camp because they watch it, we do the Valen, we check it, we secure it 2 days before, and then we get one, no, we're going to go through the village. And this was in an old group, do you know what I mean? And there's colonels and brigadiers in there, and I'm like, it's not going to work. Yeah. I'm there as this 21-year-old fucking Lance Jack section commander saying, this is not going to fucking work. Yeah. And in the end, because I got to that point, which is kind of, I said to you the other day about when you get the two-tone on the Valen when you're searching for the IEDs, and you get to that point, you get so fed up, you just stamp on it.
We've all done it, mate, tap danced on what could be the fucking end of us.
When you get to the point where you're stamping on something that could be an ID because you're that fed up, you don't give a fuck about what's going on in an old group. So I got to that point where I didn't care about the report because I didn't give a fuck if I died at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
So I turned around and said, I'll tell you what then. I said, if anybody fucking dies on this, I've said my piece, the blood's not on my hands. Didn't go down very well. Did the fucking op. All these fucking big fucking hets and fucking mastiffs tried to get through his little village, got bogged down, took 3 days to fucking clear it. He looked like a right royal cunt, and that's why I got all the fucking shite for it.
Yeah, well, yeah, because the thing is, mate, you'll lose in that situation, because if you get proved right, they'll just hate you for it.
Yeah.
You know, do you know what I mean? There's no getting around with it. But this whole class system thing, mate, right? It really pisses me. I've talked about this on the last episode of the podcast where I was when I did Q&A. It really pissed me off this summer where the story came out about in The Guardian. And The Guardian's not my favourite newspaper. To be honest, I don't have a favourite newspaper because they're all fucking biased one way or the other. But a story came out about basically saying how most, like, there's a percentage, like a high percentage of Sandhurst entrants are from private schools. So schools that people have to pay to go to, right? And that's the fact. That is the fact, right? And, like, let's be honest, if you've got the money to go to private school, you're not even lower middle class. You've got to be upper middle class to do that, right? Because it's a fucking lot of money to send a kid to that school. But all these fucking officers were coming out on Twitter and stuff, circling the wagons, saying that, like, that we have a great Sandhurst's a great institution and we have great officers, and that, you know, just because you go to these schools doesn't mean you get to become an officer. You still have to pass the RCB, and all that is true. But they were not even looking at the truth of the fact that if you go to a private school, you've got a better chance to become an officer. And they didn't see anything wrong with that. It's like, well, look, that's great that they want to do it and that they can get to go and do it. But that's like, you're just saying to anyone that's not got the privilege of going to those schools, sorry, mate, you're not going to be an officer. You could be Alexander the fucking Great, and if you're born on a council estate in the UK, you'll never be a fucking officer.
No, wait, this goes, again, to show how far the disparity is in it. In the whole 8 years I was in the army, I only ever knew of one officer who went to a comprehensive school. Yeah. Now, I knew of 2 gay soldiers, and this was back at a time when I joined it. It'd only been legal under military law to be gay in the army for about 3 years before. Mm-hmm. So it's only just been legal for gay soldiers to be in the army, yet I knew more gay soldiers than officers who didn't go to private
Let me ask you this question. How many enlisted soldiers do you know that have a degree?
Not many.
Me, probably. Like, I'm fucking...
Does TA count as enlisted?
Well, I mean, I serve with the, but the point, but I stay, yeah, and but that's a valid point, mate. That's a valid point, because if I'd have gone regular, would I have been enlisted? Because I chose to, because I did FTRS and stuff. I chose to be enlisted, and I did. And to be honest, mate, if the battalion hadn't been fucking such knobs to me, and by battalion I mean a few people in there in the hierarchy, I would have stayed. I would have liked to have stayed longer in the army. But my point being, I saw this thing the other day that the Royal Welsh put up on their fucking Instagram account, and basically like, oh, we're in Cardiff Uni recruiting officers, and I'm like, well, why aren't you just in Cardiff Uni recruiting for the army? Why are you just saying to people, oh, you got a degree, you should be an officer? Just because they got a degree doesn't mean they should be a fucking officer.
Pre-recession, I never knew any. I mean, when I joined the army and I was in basic training and I struggled with my fitness, you had three groups of people. You had the thickies, the fatties, and then the people who just sailed through. Yeah. So every night, the thickies had to go and learn how to read and write properly, because you didn't have to be able to read or write when I joined. And then you had the fatties, and we had to go to the gym and do remedial fitness every night. And then the other lads got to doss around and do shit. Post-recession, it got to the point where people leaving university couldn't get jobs, and they joined up. But then that also killed that sort of the attitude and ethos of being in a combat regiment, because they all returned in droves and started turning to these barrack room lawyers, and then the Ag system came in, and it...
The Ag system was watch the back, and to be honest, mate, when I was in Iraq, it was like it was still more like rule of the kind of fist kind of thing. But
yeah, but I mean, do you know what I mean? It's like when they used to threaten you with shit like that in Afghanistan. It's like, mate,
that's hilarious.
I'm already at fucking war. You can't make me pregnant. What are you actually going to fucking do to me?
Yeah, it's a weird one, mate. Like my belief is that everyone should join the army, is everyone goes in enlisted, and that there should be a program then that you apply to become an officer. Yeah. I don't see why. I haven't been given. Maybe there's a really good reason why that's not a good idea. I can't see it, and I haven't been given. No one's ever come back to me and said why that can't work.
I mean, it does happen on rare occasions. I've known people who've been enlisted guys who've then gone for selection to go and be an officer, but I've only ever known of, I think, two.
And let's be honest, it's not really, depending on your regiment, it's one of those things like, it's like in the Royal Welsh, mate. They were not good at encouraging people to go and do other stuff because they don't want to lose that. They want that bloke as a section commander.
That was also, again, a very caste thing. Do you know what I mean? If you was a rum lad like me, you never would have got the fucking chance to do that. You had to be in, like, if you fitted more in with the officers and never hung around with the lads, you was always toenails fucking deep up some officer. That's how you got into it.
I was saying, mate, it's like, I understand, like, you don't want to take someone that's been in a platoon and put him as a platoon commander in that regiment. I totally get that. But I just think, like, let's say fucking you join the RTR and then you decide as you want to become an officer. There's plenty of other cavalry regiments you could go to. They could send you to the Light Dragoons and you'd be a platoon commander in the Light Dragoons. Or you might even transfer across to the infantry. But this idea that people come in because you've got... And because one of the things that pissed me off, they need to have the degree background because they're going to have a lot of paperwork and stuff as an officer. Mate, have you seen how much paperwork platoon sergeant or company sergeant major have? So if it's all right for them, why is it not all right for the platoon commander? I'm sorry, man. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying the shit they're selling me.
The sad thing is it's never going to get addressed because it predominantly affects white working class males. Yeah. So it's never going to get addressed. You know what I mean? If it was an issue to do with sexuality, gender, race, they'd be all over it. They'd have the equality team and fucking have it nailed down.
And look, mate, I love, for instance, this is a wider point, I love the Royal British Legion. I love them. They helped out this podcast a lot. And the guys, I love them. But the fact is, I went on their website earlier. First picture I see on the website is a woman. The next person I see is a person of colour. And the third person is a woman again. And I think that all those people need represented by the Royal British Legion. And I have no issue with that whatsoever. But let's just be fucking honest about it. The majority of people in the British military are straight white men, right?
From working class
backgrounds. And the reason it annoys me when I see something like that on a website is because we all know what's going on.
Yeah.
We all know. It's like, look, who are you pandering to here? Because I guarantee you that those ladies and that guy didn't ask to be put on the front of that fucking website. They didn't fucking ask for that. But like, it's just like, why? Like, it's pandering. It's like that is not a representative of what the military really
and
is.
the thing is, like, you try and raise that, and people are like, oh, you're racist.
Well, people are going to give me shit for this right now.
And they'll say you're racist or you're sexist. Like, I'm going to fucking minute. One of my best monkeys is a Fijian. And he's from fucking Ghana, and we've just all been on tour together looking after each other's fucking lives.
Exactly.
So how the fuck am I racist? Do you know what I mean? It's just not an actual representation of what is on the ground picture.
Exactly. And it's an insult to your intelligence, because it's like, I know what's going on here. Well, I know why this... It's like, why... Just... Whoever, like, just grab whoever for a fucking photo and stick them up there. Don't be like, oh, we got to put this gender up in this. Just grab whoever and put them up. Stop fucking mugging us off. Like, I mean, it's like treating us like idiots.
It's like these new recruitment adverts, like fucking Snowflakes, we need you, and computer games, we need you. Right, they've started to do new programs like the drone fucking teams and all the rest of it. But the massive recruitment issue is in combat units, and it's still the issue. And the thing is, it's going to put guys off, because when I was going through fucking school, if I'd have seen someone, I'd be like, oh, fuck.
You wouldn't want to do it, mate. It's exactly what I've said.
I'm not having the piss taken at me with that.
Exactly. And here's the thing, mate. I've had it before, like I've always said, I've always liked the Royal Marine adverts. You know, like I've talked about it before. There's one, the last one that I saw was there's a couple of them on like a boat, and they're floating through a village that's on fire, and they look out, they got their lid squared away. It looks alley. I'd be like that. And you know what, mate? If I saw that Snowflake advert, I go, I don't want to be a part of that. I want to be in a fucking unit that goes out and kills people. I'm not fucking with these snowflakes. I like the idea that the group of people I were going into were harder than me and were going to make me a harder person. Which it did.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's another thing what you can't say, and it fucking grips me shit. Do you know what I mean? I want to go and kill people. That's something like being a fireman and saying you want to go and put a fucking fire out.
Yeah,
you know
mate, we talked about this. I wrote about it in my book. Like, we wanted to kill the enemy, bottom fucking line. Bottom line, wanted to kill the enemy.
I was, because I had my own issues when I come back, couldn't adjust back to normal army life, do you know what I mean? I was very much an operational soldier, do you know what I mean? I couldn't deal with coming back from Afghan, where you weren't shaving, you were just having body armour on with no tops on, do you know what I mean? Patrolling around.
Well, you might be, mate. We didn't have that going on.
Well, yeah, but we weren't fucking infantry, so we didn't have the bullshit.
Yeah.
Plus, we was fucking way out on our own most of the time. I was a Lance Jack section commander, and half the time we just have fucking us, do you know what I mean? Mm. So we just sort of cut about as we want. And the light dragoons, when I was attached to them, they didn't have any rules. Do you know what I mean? Captain Clayton as well was like, oh, I try and want you to shave once a week, but if you can't fit it in, it don't really matter. Do you know what I mean? I
like him. I like the sound of this,
what
bro.
A fucking bloke. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's a bit of morale, mate.
And then to come back to the fucking heavy bullshit, there was no gradual breaking. It was like the heavy bullshit straight away. And I thought,
well, they even go over the top with it. They go more than
I can't do this. And then my dad got killed, and I thought, well, that's just the push I need. You know what I mean? I'm going to leave now. So I left after that, but then I struggled to it, do you know what I mean? There's substance abuse and all that sort of shit. Joined an organisation, got in with the wrong crowd, sort of old cliche story like most people do. And yeah, it's finally sort of come to a head after years of like blocking everything out, do you know what I mean? Taking loads of fucking cocaine, amphetamine, drinking, partying all the time. Then it started coming out, and I finally broke the taboo and went to the doctors and everything. It took nearly 12 months to get anywhere with it. But then the first time I finally sat down after 6 or 7 different assessments as clinical psychologist and said, I miss killing people. And like, it's like I just shit in her face, do you know what I mean? She's like, I said, hang on a minute. I said, before you start fucking going down the lines of sociopath and art shit, I said, it's only the same as being a World Cup level football player and playing in a stadium at the World Cup.
But I think when you say killing people, what you mean is killing the enemy.
Yeah, like, that's what I mean. Because
so it's not, because this is a thing I've talked about, because I had a big issue with the Daily Mail when they did the story about me, because they wanted to say that killing people was a high point in my life, and I was like, no, trying to kill the enemy was, because they're trying to kill me and I'm trying to kill them.
And that's the job.
Yeah, and it's not just a lot job, mate. It's the passion.
And if you look at the actual job description of the job we did, it was to close with and kill the enemy using mobility and firepower. That was our fucking job.
Yeah.
So when I tried to explain it to her, and I was like, look, it's just like being a World Cup football player, playing in an arena, and then retiring, never being in that limelight, that pinnacle. You know what I mean? I've got to that point now where I've had to accept I'm never going to be that fucking awesome again. As a 21-year-old section commander, smashing the fuck out of things in Afghanistan, where we had everything from fucking artillery, A-10s, you name it, you got on the fucking blower and you had it. Do you know what I mean? That was what I always imagined war to be like.
It's a chemical addiction, mate, as well, because it's like you what's getting released into your body and mind in those things is like that is a addictive fucking drug.
Well, I reckon I've summed up me to what it boils down to, and I think if you could bottle it, you'd make fucking billions,
Mate.
It's not the fact of one excitement or another. It's the fact you go through a range of every single fucking emotion in such a short space of time. Yeah. Do you mean you go through that when you get eye contact suggesting that there's going to be an attack in your AO? And you get that slow drip fed adrenaline, and you're waiting for it, and you're that hyper vigilant, and then you first get that crack and thump, and then you get that sort of initial panic when you're trying to locate where the enemy is. Then you start directing, and then you get that burst of rage, it just takes over. You finally fucking let loose and start letting the jimpy start singing. And then when you finally look at the cunt and he's dancing around in the tree line and you're stitching up the tree line chasing, when he finally fucking drops, like, you're like a fucking gorilla beating your chest like you just won the World Cup. You're never going to get that again, ever.
Well, look, mate, there's a reason that you and me both ended up fucking doing cocaine, right? And cocaine, as they say, is a hell of a drug. But you know what? Doesn't come close to being in contact. And that we're talking about one of the most potent, uplifting drugs out there. It doesn't come close.
No, it doesn't. And then that's all you think about then on the come down. Because then when you're coming down off it, you think, well, that was fucking shit. It didn't even come close.
Well, I don't mind. My thing is more like, maybe I can get higher.
That's it. Well, that didn't come close. I'll try again. Maybe it'll work next time. Do you know what I mean?
And you know what, mate? And it is, again, dirty little secret. It does work to a degree because it does get you higher than normal day life. And
it masks it. Do you know what I mean? And all you're doing is you're hiding it.
Exactly, mate. Exactly.
And
it's not a solution.
I spent the best part of fucking 7 years just fucking constantly fucking drinking, sniffing, amphetamine. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Bit of money here, bit of money there. Having a job that I was spending majority of the time on the sick with, just so I could have a stamp for the tax man, just so that it didn't raise any suspicions up. But, do you know what I mean? It's like, but they couldn't sack me because I kept going to the doctor saying, "Oh, I've got a bad back." Right. They'd write me down and go in, and I went in once for a disciplinary, and they had them all these sick notes spread out on the tail. Do you know why we've called you in? Oh, looking at your props, probably my absences. But how many of them absences have not been signed off by a medical professional? Oh well, so should I call the union, or should we just pretend this didn't?
But it's not good though, is it? It's not good to be in that position.
No, it's a very destructive. I mean, I think I went down to about fucking 13 stone or something like that, do you know what I mean? And like I say, it got to the point where I'd say probably about 12 to 18 months ago, I started hitting the gym again. And then this last 12 months has been like clean. I've had a blowout maybe 2 or 3 times in 12 months. Apart from that, I don't even drink, do you know what I mean? It's just eating and I've put loads of weight on. I've got back up to nearly 17 stone. I feel good. I've started putting plans in place, do you know what I mean? I went and qualified as a fucking barber, opened a barber shop, got shut down by the council because the letting agent said it could only be a fucking florist and he hadn't changed the paperwork. And the council are moaning about high streets fucking closing down, but...
don't get me started with the council.
But then they wouldn't fucking go and appeal this or just do a change of use. And I even had, because there's homeless folk and that near me, I even had a plan in place to have a shower in the back where homeless people could come in on a Monday and Tuesday, have a shower, get their hair cut, fuck off and go and try and do something for themselves. But nothing, so pack that in.
They're the same, the people in those positions, they're the same breed of people who were the ones that made the decisions about Afghanistan. It's the same breed, fucking jobs with.
Just fucking mouth breathers justifying their own job.
Yeah. They're fucking lizards, mate. It's exactly the same. Like you said, when people complain about high streets dying, but... Well, who lets that happen? It's like, so because I know like in this town, mate, the prices that the rates that they charge and stuff. It just the people's margins are so small, and then they get people putting their windows through and stuff, and they're just not asked about it. It's like, well, why would you do it? Why when you can just go and like have a big company pay your salary? It's fucking ridiculous, mate. But yeah, it's the same kind of thing, mate. And I think that's one of the things that can be very disheartening when you come out as a veteran, is that like. I think of veterans, mate, and people in the military, we have an ingrained sense of fair play, right? So people ask me, like, what am I feeling towards the Taliban now? And I'm like, look, the ones that go around cutting villagers' heads and stuff off, obviously I think they deserve a special place in hell. But the guy who just picked up a weapon and tried to shoot me, I got nothing against him. It's big boy rules. He came to the fight, I came to the fight, big boy rules.
No, I agree with
you. And I have this, and it's this sense of fucking fair play. It's like... when I first came back, I got shafted for money a few times off people that I thought I could trust, because when you're in Afghanistan or Iraq, you literally have mates who would die for you. Like, that's not a cliche. It's true. Someone would give their life for your life. And then you come back to Civvy Street, and I'm very lucky I have good Civvy mates, but I have been fucked over because I'd lend someone money or whatever, never hear from them again, and you're like, oh, fuck, I thought we were supposed to die for each other, and he wouldn't even pay me back a few grand. Mate, right, we're going to hit pause a second, so I'm fucking busting for a piss, and we'll come back to this. We just hit pause for a second, Pete. Here's a quick word from our sponsors. Please listen, because they're the ones that make this podcast possible. So no fast forwarding, you fucks. This podcast is brought to you by Camouflage. Camouflage spelled with a K. Camouflage is a veteran-owned surveillance and investigations company, a brand you can rely on for their professionalism, integrity, and quality of work at all levels. So what are the kind of things you'd use a surveillance and investigations company for? Well, maybe someone is regularly stealing from your business or fly tipping on your property. In this day and age of internet dating, there's always the danger of getting catfished. Camouflage can help with that. They can also help with unlawful partners, the fucking slags, so that you can have the evidence for divorce, and they can dig in all kinds of things on the ground or online. But obviously they've chosen not to look at my search history, or we wouldn't be friends. Camouflage are listeners and supporters of the podcast. So I really love it if you guys can support them back, because we are a family here, a very weird, fucked up family. So how can you help them and support them if you don't require surveillance investigations? Head over to camouflage.co.uk, because these guys are stockists of specialised surveillance, outdoor clothing and equipment and more from the likes of Lawmate, Yukon, TRC Outdoors and Lumine Designs. They also have a service for bespoke handmade ghillie suits, which is pretty alley, and vehicle tracking systems. Think of them as like Q and James Bond. You go to their website, get a tough brush that has a flamethrower in the handle, and maybe pick up a nice jacket. Right, so go check them out on Instagram at Camouflage Limited, camouflage spelled with a K, and at camouflage.co.uk. This podcast is also brought to you by none other than the Royal British Legion. What do you think about when you think about the Royal British Legion? Maybe you think about blazers. Maybe you think about a warm pint of bitter. Well, if that's your thing, awesome. But the Royal British Legion are so much more than that. They really are up to speed, up to the whatever century we're in now, 25th? I don't know. And I'm going to give it a bit of taste of a few things that they're up to. All right, I've got a big-ass list in front of me, so I'm just going to pick a couple of each ones. Tribute Inc. Do you like tattoos? How about half-naked people? I know I do. Either way, Tribute Inc. is for you. It's basically a project that shows how serving military and veterans remember comrades through tattoos. I think this is really important for obvious reasons. And when you combine art and the act of remembrance, you come up with something really special. I think you guys are going to really dig Tribute Inc. How you can get involved? Go and check out their posts at Royal British Legion on Instagram. And there's also a link at the website at rbl.org. You can also visit the exhibition, which is at the National Arboretum in Staffordshire. It's there until December 1st, and then it goes on tour. I'll keep you updated on where it's heading, but it's probably not going to be Wrexham or Bognor Regis. So if you live in any of those places, get your ass to the National Arboretum. And if you're a veteran and you need help with finances, your mental health, your physical health, burying a body in the woods, whatever, contact the Royal British Legion. Tell them I sent you. Their contact details are in the episode summary, and just, go to rbl.org. Right, I am back from El Baño. That's Spanish for the shitter. Right, what were you just saying there, mate, when we were off air? You were just talking about, like, people expecting everything to be done for you for the veteran, the old veteran privilege thing. Yeah. So go on, let's pick up that point.
I fucking hate it, man. I mean, even though I'm a veteran and I do a lot of things to try and help other veterans, I'd say one of the demographics I hate most is fucking ex-squaddies. Because I just fucking detest it, especially when you get someone drunk saying, "Oh, I fought for this country." It's like, mate, fuck off. It was two bullshit fucking political wars. You know what I mean? We would have gagged on a fucking dick for the chance to go to the Falklands and fucking liberate British people from foreign aggressors.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Literally would have gagged on someone's dick to get that opportunity.
I wonder what the PTSD rate is with Falklands vets in terms of the fact, because the thing is, 100% with that war, when you're suffering, or if you know your mate's died, you know, like, it's the Second World War, mate. Second World War, right? And no, there's not a shadow, a scrap of doubt that you weren't doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You weren't doing the right thing. And like you said, mate, you and me, we wanted to go and scrap. And to be honest, mate, I knew going into those places that it was wrong. I was against the Iraq War, but I fucking wanted to go.
Yeah.
But I was against it. And
I
I'll be
was
honest with
I
you,
weren't really asked either way, but I knew that there was no higher purpose to it. I mean, I remember doing the Afghan pre-deployment training. They try and give you that mission card. If anyone asks you why you're there, this is what you say to them. And he's like, well, because there's not actually a real fucking reason we're going there. So we have to read off this fucking sheet.
Well, mate, the fact is, like, if you're there for a reason, the whole thing of, hey, now we're going to announce when we're pulling out. I'm like, well, hang on. The job isn't done, so that means that the reason can't have been fulfilled. So why are we leaving? Yeah. You know?
It was our Vietnam during. We smashed the fuck out the place on attrition rates. We won as far as it goes on attrition rates and kill ratios, but what did we actually...
But that only... The thing is, mate...
What did we achieve, though?
That's we won by the standards of our generals, not by theirs. They don't care about attrition rates. So like they're like, oh, we killed 10 enemy for every one they kill us. Yeah, but they're willing to lose 1,000 for every one of us. So it doesn't matter.
There was nothing actually fucking achieved.
No, there's nothing achieved, mate. All we achieved was go in, flatten the towns, and fucking leave.
The only thing that was achieved is things that have come out with it, like forward-looking infrared that the fire brigade has started using, medical training now, all the police and stuff have got. People don't realise all that shit comes from war.
It does, but it doesn't need to.
Well, no,
because that development money could just put
all prosthetic limbs and stuff. Like you was getting NHS nurses and surgeons going out to Afghan.
Yeah.
And the trauma injuries they were seeing 6-7 times a day. Yeah. They would only see 2-3 times a year.
Yeah. But it doesn't need to be that way. Because here's the thing. I'd rather live in a world where there's only 2 to 3 trauma injuries that a doctor's seeing a year.
Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? It's not worth the war to develop the fucking technology, but that's just the only decent byproduct.
That's the only positive. I feel used and I don't like. I feel used because I do think that I think the fucking army, the army and the UK uses propaganda, and if you don't think that it does, then you got your fucking eyes closed. Like any young kid, like right now, like I'm not gonna. Okay. It breaks my heart when I get a fucking message from a young kid saying they want to join to serve Queen and country. I'm gonna fucking be honest with you kids right now. That ain't the case. It ain't the fucking case. If you want to go and soldier because you want to soldier and you want to be in the shit and you want to get rounds down, by all means, be my fucking guest. I would want to do it again, 100%.
But even now, they're not getting the chance to do that.
Well, no.
It blows my mind.
But here's the thing, though, mate. We never knew. When I joined in 2000, I never saw it coming either. So you just can't see it coming.
I joined 2003, so although Afghan hadn't started yet, I knew that I was going to end up going to Iraq. I didn't know I'd end up going as soon as I did, and then go straight back out to Afghan as soon as I did. But I knew it'd be on the cards. Yeah.
But look, man, like this whole Queen and country thing, it just doesn't exist. It's like the army doesn't give a fuck about you. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not good... Like, again, like nothing simple in life. I know the army doesn't give a fuck about me. I still join the army again. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like going to a fucking ex... It's like having that fucking ex who's a cunt to you, but goddamn the sex is good. So you go back. So, but like you lads thinking that the army's going to take care of you, it fucking won't. The army doesn't give a flying fuck. So you need to go, if you're going to join the army now, you need to look at it like, what can I get out of them? Because they're going to try and get everything they can up to and including your life.
I think a lot of this social media thing has an impact on a lot of soldiers' lives because they see all this shit in America. And they go way over the top with this hero worship bollocks, you know what I mean? Bill Burr is a fucking cracky one when he's on about like...
Mate, I fucking love Bill Burr.
Did the guy even see action or was he just got the guy in the aircraft carrier waving the paddles around? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But they all say he's a hero. And he goes on that, and it's true. It's fucking true. They will worship anybody. I mean, it could have been a fucking pay clerk, do you know what I mean?
To be fair, mate, I think that it's gone so far that there's a beginning to be a backlash on it now.
Now you're starting to get British people with all these American friends online and stuff, and they're seeing that, and then they start to feel their own sense of entitlement. And that's just not how it works in the UK.
But it depends. It depends who those vets are, mate. Because I'm friends with a lot of American vets, and they are not that way whatsoever. No, do you know who it is, mate?
It's the civvies.
Yeah, well, it's the civvies. But you know who it is, mate. The ones who enjoy that veteran privilege. It's your fucking clerks. Yeah, and it's your remfs. It's not the infantry blokes mostly. It's people who have like. The American military is so vast, and most of it is nowhere near combat. I have never heard a Marine Corps fucking grunt say to me, I wish there was more veteran parking places. I've never heard them say that. I've heard them say, who the fuck can't walk an extra 10 fucking meters? Like, do you know what I mean, mate? Because, like, again, you look at, like, and this is the same with the British military too, but I think it's worse than the American military. You see the state of some of their fucking they're fucking 250 fucking pounds.
But I mean, the ironic thing is, like, they got the veteran license plates in America. Well, fuck me. If you had veteran license plates in the UK and you go and park your car in somewhere like fucking Oldham or the middle of Birmingham, your car's going to get fucking set on fire by the time you get back to it. That's the reality of it. And people who go on this privilege, it's like, mate, you joined the fucking army. The army didn't join you. Do you mean you wanted to go and fucking do this? Totally.
And you know what, mate? I'm guilty of it too. Because the thing is, I slagged the army off, but I joined willingly. But here's where I draw the line. The fact is that the reason I think it's justified to be pissed off at the army and the MOD is because they do lie to you and then use you, right? So if the army said, hey, this is a job, you're going to get paid while you're here, you're going to get fed, and you know what? If anything happens to you, tough fucking shit. Deal with it. Come in or not. If they said that, I got no problem. What I got a problem with, mate, is the army going, hey, 16-year-old kid, it's a family. You're going to have a family for life. And then they fucking mug you off. I have an issue with.
Let us teach you about the covenant. I mean, I agree, because at the end of the day, you sign a contract, and this is how I think it should go. You sign a contract and you say, for this many years, I'll go and be a soldier. And they say, right, well, for this many years, we'll give you a roof, some clothing, and pay you. And you can get pissed and turn up on parade and we won't sack you for being pissed. Sound. I'm game for that.
Yeah.
Let's play ball. When you leave the army, that's the end of a contract. And that's you saying to them, I'm not doing fuck all for you anymore. And they're not really in any position to have to fucking owe you anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's as simple as it should be. Because this army covenant bullshit.
Again, as long as, so for instance, army, by the way, mate, while I was with you, my knees are fucked and my ears are fucked. They go, want anything to do with us? It's like, well, you're the only job I've had. Nah, we're us. Like, that stuff, that stuff fucks me off. It's like, again, it's like, fair, like, so my mates who are in the States, some of them have got, like, they have this, when they get out, they get looked over by a doctor and they're like, right, well, your knees are 30% more fucked than they were when you joined. Your hearing's gone down this much. We're going to give you 20% disability for the rest of your life. And that's it. Fair one. Like, it's like, I'm not saying everyone should come out. It should be like every month you get fucking 10 grand for the rest of your life. But without doubt, mate, I don't know about you, without doubt, my knees, like my hearing, they could say it's from clubbing. And I go, you know what? It might be. But my knees are from fucking the infantry. Yeah. So give me some fucking money.
Yeah. It fucking is. You know, hearing that it's not service related. Oh no, must have been all the motherfucking bangs that were going off.
Yeah, so it's fucking IEDs, those IEDs down the fucking gym, mate. You know, and like,
dropping my weights too hard.
But again, mate, I don't have. Here's the thing, mate. I could have claimed. Like, here's the other thing as well. All right, well, I got PTSD. I'm going to claim some money for it. Oh, have you claimed within 4 years of the injury? And here's the other thing. How would you prove when your injury was with PTSD? But like they'll be like, well, guess we're not paying you. Again, it's like, it's just fair play that we're looking for. It's not, I don't want any extra off them than is just fair. So it's like, oh, you have PTSD? Well, when did you go and look help for it? Oh, it was outside 4 years, you're not getting any money. It's like, well, hang on, mate. I did try, it's like, someone may be like, I did try and kill myself. But it was outside 4 years, so it don't count. Like, fuck off.
Well, I didn't know I had PTSD at the time because I was just fucking numbing my head with cocaine almost every fucking day for 7 years.
And you know what? I'm not asking you to get in touch with the dealer and settle me bill. It's not, I'm not asking for that kind of thing. And you know what, mate? I am a massive believer in if you're not doing anything to help yourself, you're in no position to fucking ask them either. I always say to people, it's like, all right, yes, you have got PTSD, but what are you eating? Are you exercising?
Are you training?
Are you getting out of the house? Oh, well, I hate going outside the house. Yeah, but you know what, mate? You're going to have to do it. You're going to have to do it. There's going to be some things that are going to be hard. So if you're complaining about your knees and you're weighing 400 pounds, well, maybe you need to lose a bit of weight.
Yeah. I don't like crowded places. We'll go for a walk in the fucking park.
I don't like crowded places. You know how you get used to crowded places? You start going to busier places. Like, you have to start, like, you know, you have to do things for yourself. But look, mate, if there's one fucking bugbear I have with the army now, it's the idea of selling this family idea. If it's a fucking family, it's Fred West's fucking family, right? It is.
But worse, it's Fritzl's family. You're kept in the dark in a basement, you're fucked every night.
Yes, exactly, mate. And that's what it's like. And the fact is, mate, is it a brotherhood and a sisterhood?
Only while you're there.
Well, I would disagree because I'm very lucky. Like me and my boys are still fucking tight.
I mean, I went to our Afghan 10-year reunion in August, and it weren't bad numbers, to be fair. There's about 40 of us turned up out, and there was just over 100 of us went out on that tour. So it's almost half 10 years later turned up, and it was like nothing had ever. Time stopped.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Everyone just went back to where they were, but most people don't sort of keep in touch. I lost contact because of the lifestyle I went into, and like I joined an organisation and was a member with that, and do you know what I mean? I sort of went into my own little fucking subculture.
Yeah, and people do. I think people do that, mate, because they don't want to have the conversations about the tour and stuff. And you know, do you know what I mean? So people actually go out their way to avoid it.
But there's there is a few guys I've always kept in touch with. Do you know what I mean? But I'd say two or three.
Well, I feel like I have brothers and some sisters from my time in the military. But what I don't have is parents. And that's what the army claim to be in a way, isn't it? It's like they're offering these young kids this family. And it's like, yeah, but who defines what a fucking family is? I'm not being funny. Most families fucking suck. You know, people are fucking horrible to each other. People fuck each other over for money. So there is no such thing as a fucking utopian family. The best family have issues. So when the army are claiming, oh, we'll be a family, a kid sees that. And like the thing is, mate, again, it's who they're targeting. It's usually kids from rough backgrounds, broken homes. And they're targeting them going, we'll give you a family. And it fucks those kids' heads up.
That's the problem. I mean, when I joined, from putting the application in, to going up to Scotland doing the 3 days election, to actually starting basic training, took about 6 weeks. That was it. Bosh, you're in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I was out of school by about, I think it was 3.5 weeks before I started basic training. Whereas now, they've outsourced it to this company called Capita.
Yeah,
and they're taking up to 12 to 18 months. So when you're getting these 16-year-olds and saying, like, put your application in, by the time 12 months has gone by in a 16-year-old's life, he's fucking completely forgot about that idea in the army. He's met a bird who he gets to finger every weekend. And do you know what I mean?
Hot.
She's warm and she's wet and she's 16. Do you know what I mean? And fuck basic training when you've got that on the plate.
Yeah.
And that's why he's doing, because these civic companies are taking so fucking long to process, guys. They lose interest.
I wonder who's on the board of directors of them companies, mate.
I fucking guarantee it'll be some ex-brigadier.
Of course they're going to have, because they'll say, well, we need to have the input from these people. Fucking greasing each other's palms. Oh,
the cunt would have been like, look, this is costing us a lot of money for this recruitment. I think we should outsource it. 2 years he retires and he's now fucking head of fucking Capita.
Yeah, no, mate, classic. It's like, and these generals and shit. One of them the other day, actually, let's talk about this. I tweeted at one of them the other day, never got anything back, surprise, surprise. He replying to everyone. He was replying to people that agreed with his message, wouldn't reply to anyone who disagreed.
Oh, that's like fucking...
He's the commander of Field Army, and basically, some lad, and like, what he'd said was wrong, right? Some lad who's serving had tweeted at a member of parliament and he'd said something that was quite threatening. That was wrong of him to do, right? What should have happened was that he was dealt with in-house, quietly, away from the public. Because let's not forget that if you're a member of parliament who's using incendiary language all the time and who's basically fucking using combative language, you can't then hide behind a fucking shield when it comes back. But what he did was wrong, because he is in the army and he shouldn't be doing that on a public forum, right? If he wants to think that in his own head, that's his right. But he shouldn't have put it on there. But then the fucking commander of the Field Army comes out and puts him publicly and puts him on, basically skins him alive and hangs him out in front of the fucking public. If you're listening to this, sir, fuck you for doing that to one of your men. That is fucking disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. You threw him under the fucking bus for political point scoring. If you actually gave a fuck about the people under your command, you would have fucking gone to even see him publicly or get on the phone and educate him as to why what he did was wrong. Educate, rather than fucking throw him out there to score some political points. The way that was handled was absolutely disgusting. And you know what? That young man now is probably going to get kicked out of the army. It's only going to cement the beliefs that he had that were wrong, I believe, are only going to get reinforced now because he's seen the betrayal, right? And it is a betrayal, because just because something does something wrong doesn't mean he's not one of your soldiers anymore. Doesn't mean he's not in your care, not in your charge, right? That lad's opinions are going to get further hardened. He's probably going to become more violent, outspoken, and it's going to be negative effect on society in general, all because you needed to score a little politically correct point on Instagram. Shame on you. And I think that doing that, you owe that young lad an apology because you've probably massively fucked up his life.
Well, it's like that fucking Johnny Mercer. What a fucking prize cunt. Right?
But how do you feel about him?
Fuck me. Do you know what I mean? If there's any fucking prick who hero worships himself, it's that prick. And he's now the fucking head of this new Veterans Affairs. Do you know how many times I've called that cunt out on LinkedIn, Instagram, you fucking name it? So, Johnny Mercer, what is this new Veterans Affairs? What services does it provide? Nothing. Oh, the new Veterans Affairs office. Yeah, but what does it actually do? And everyone's like, oh, this is great, help for veterans. And I'm like, yeah, but what does it actually do? And then it's like, yeah, it's been given £5 million funding. £5 million?
Mate, that's not even what those fucking directors are going to be getting.
Do you mean, what the fuck is £5 million going to achieve?
Yeah. And the thing is, right, I know some people listening go, £5 million is a lot of money. Look, guys, it's not. $5 million is not a lot of money. I know people who make more than $5 million a year, right? $5 million is not a lot of money.
$5 million probably pays that cunt's expenses for the next 3 years. Yeah. And his staff and his assistants.
Yeah.
I mean,
$5 million. I'm sorry. Like, guys, look. Go in. If you're at home right now, open your cupboards or go and look at your clothing or any of those. Most of those companies are doing over 100 million a year. Like easily. Like, and it sounds a lot to us because we were on jobs where we were getting 20, 30 grand or whatever. It's not. $5 million is nothing. It's chump change. It's actually, to be honest, if you understand like finances and stuff, it's actually an insult.
You wouldn't be able to fill the potholes on an average housing estate for £5 million. That's how little £5 million goes.
It's fucking nuts, mate. But like, you know, like, hey, I want to be optimistic about all this stuff, but I just see the same things happening again and again. People getting bored of directors' jobs, all that kind of thing. It's greasing each other's fucking palms. I mean, it's in the same way. Like, it's basically, I'm going to invite onto this podcast who I want to talk to, generally, right? Which means, like, it's, you know, you hang around with who you want to hang around with, and you know, like, if I have a mate who's got a book he wants to come out or whatever and promote, I'm going to have him on the podcast. That's what they're doing. That group of ex-generals and stuff, they're doing the same thing. They're bringing the fucking mates in. That's
jobs for the boys. It's always been the fucking same.
I remember my granddad, mate, like when I wanted to join the army, my granddad he never tried to put me off, but he basically used to say to me about like how there's this gravy train in the country and how, you know, these people just use you for your own thing. And I was young and idealistic, and I was like, no, that's not the case. Not the case at all. And then I'm like, I wish he was around now so I could say to him, hey, sorry, you were right. I fucking should have listened to you better. Still would have gone and done it. Like I said, mate, I still would have gone and done it, but I would have done it with my eyes open because I was very much in the Queen and Country camp. I thought that's what it was all about. I thought that. Like, at first, that's what I fucking thought. Doesn't take you long. If you got your eyes open, it takes you about 3 hours to be in Iraq before you realise that it's all fucking lies.
3 hours is fucking optimistic.
Yeah. And then you realise you're like, hang on a minute.
I think it's probably about halfway into pre-deployment training. I thought, really?
And here's my thing about it as well, mate, right? I think I'm slightly above average intelligence, but no more than that. I'd say that's being very generous to myself. I do not think for a second that these people in these highest positions in politics and in the army, I don't think that they're idiots. I don't. Which leads...
Well, I don't know.
Well, hang on.
Diane Abbott's thick as fuck.
Well, some of them are. Okay, some of them are. But generally, these generals and stuff, they are probably intelligent people, which leads me to believe that they know what is right and what is wrong and what we work with, but they choose for their own fucking reasons or whatever to choose to chin it off. There's a reason that, oh no, I think we've got everything we need to do the job. He leaves his job as a general, writes a book. I don't think we ever had what we need. You are a fucking coward. That is a definition of being a coward.
If they put as much fucking effort into deception plans on the field as they did into the fucking careers, then we probably would have won the fucking wars.
Oh, mate. Okay, here's the other thing, right, that I've never fucking got, right? If Lance Corporals, us fucking Lance Corporals here, right, we could figure out what was going on. And you know what? People going, oh, you didn't know what was going on. Well, actually, we did because, like, we called exactly what was going to happen in Afghan, and it has happened. Neither of us did fucking war studies at King's College London, and we figured that out. And again, I don't think either me or Joe are saying that we are fucking, like, that fucking clever. We could figure it out. How is it that we had staff officers in staff colleges? That's what they do, and they couldn't figure it out.
Who studied this, lectured by fucking war historians and all the rest of it, and they couldn't see it coming.
But have they though, mate? Because here's the thing: you haven't got to read much about Afghanistan's history to understand that we were doing exactly the same mistakes. So, if again, like I'm thinking, like if I put the effort in to read those books, that says to me that it's total negligence. It's either they haven't read them or they have and they chin it off. And that comes down to one of two things. They know it's wrong and they don't care, or their ego says that they can. Well, it happened to Alexander the Great, but it's not going to happen to me.
Oh, they know it's wrong and they didn't fucking care. That's the sum of it. Do you know what I mean? They all knew what was going on. None of them think. It's like Iraq. Everyone's like, oh yeah, Iraq was for the oil. Was it though? Because I really wouldn't have minded. If I saw the prices in the pumps coming down, I'd have been like, do you know what? I'll do that again.
Or like, the fucking miners used to get the coal cheap. If you and me, it's like, one thing of veteran privilege I wouldn't say no to. We got oil heating system at home. If they're like, oh, you're in Iraq, all right, we'll give you 20% off the oil. Hey, nice one, mate. I'll be all right with that.
They say we was there for the oil. It's like, well, I never saw the prices on the pumps come down.
I think we were there, mate, because they wanted the fucking war for multiple reasons, including financial. But like, it's like if you have a massive military, it's like if you are the best MMA fighter in the world, you're going to want to have a fucking fight. Now, that works on the level of you and me as soldiers. We want to go to war. But if you imagine you have the power that you're commanding, the greatest, most powerful military that's ever existed, you're going to go and beat the shit out of someone, aren't you? That's the truth.
Yeah, not send a skeleton crew.
It's human nature that you're going to go and want to have a fucking scrap. And like these generals, they, like the same way that you and me, I fucking grew up with dreams of putting rounds down on a fucking machine gun, right? These generals have grown up with dreams of them moving their brigades around on maps.
Yeah.
And that's what they wanted to do. It's in their interest. Like, they're humans too. And they're what they want is different to what you and me want, but it's actually, when you boil it down, it's the same ingredients.
It seems as well like there just seems to be this plan. He's like, right, let's look at the next 40 years. How can we fuck the Kurds over every 10? Do you know what I mean? That seems to be the full circle every time one of these wars go around. Oh. The end result is the Kurds getting fucked over again, and they never see it coming. It's like, the next time it happens, it's like, all right.
Yeah, but do you know why, mate? Because all the ones who were alive for the last one are now dead. They were kids in the last one. And now it's like they'll the fucking they won't remember.
This time it might be different.
Well, there's no one to remember it from the last time because they're fucking dead. Yeah, this Kurd thing, mate, is an absolute fucking. But you know what? It's disgusting, but again, it's not surprising.
No, I could have fucking spotted that coming as soon as we started helping the YPG and all the rest of it. It's like, these cunts are going to get left fucking hung and dry towards the end of this.
We're going to use them. Thousands of them are going to die defeating ISIS, which, to be honest, was as big of a threat to the West as it was to the locals. And now we've gone, Turkey's not a threat to the West. They are a threat to the locals. Fuck the locals.
And Trump, like a fucking... one of these fucking brigadiers has gone, I can see a good trade deal with Turkey coming off here.
Yeah.
But if we move out of northern Syria, you can...
I'll have an extra 100 million on top of my already billions. Like, when does it get to the point when you got enough money?
I think that's the thing with these. I think they can never have enough money.
But, like, could you, like, and this is the fucking weird thing about that, mate, right? I want money, right? I'd love it right now if you and me, no offence to this studio, which I love, if we were recording this on a super yacht in the Seychelles right now, that would be pretty cool. But how many super yachts do you need? Do you know what I mean? Like, and there's a mad thing about... I
think we'd soon be back on the cocaine again.
Yeah, but mate, that's a fucking... It's just madness, like. And
but the thing is, you could literally live a very comfortable, stress-free life. If someone said, right, here's 5 million.
15 million apparently is the optimal number.
Fuck that, 5 million to do me. I'd go and buy myself a fucking ranch in Arizona and that'd be me.
Yeah, well, you could like. So there's a study done. It's like, because it was basically they looked into all these millionaires, and it was like where we're trying to identify which were the most happy. And it was like the ones that were, say, around 5 were still kind of like really kind of clawing to get higher. But there's not much of the actual difference in your life with 15 million to 100 million is not actually that much of a difference because you've already got the money to pay for the best doctors. You've already got the money to have a nice house. You've already got the money to have vacations. You've got the money to have a second home somewhere. You've already got all that. So that next jump then, because what is the next? What's the next jump?
In the bank.
Yeah, what's the next jump after that?
Yeah, see, I won't be asked about all the fancy stuff though. I'd have an old fucking souped up Dodge Power Wagon, a ranch in Arizona, a couple of Harleys, and that'd be me.
I want a GPMG, mate.
some donkeys and some pit bulls.
I want a GPMG. I was looking at deactivated ones the other day. They just done the $3,000.
I've seen it on Instagram.
Yeah, my mum's put a veto on that one because she said, here's the funny thing though. My mum's like, oh, the police firearms team will get called out and shoot him, all right? And I realised I have actually zero fucking worry about a police firearms team. I was like, I'll be all right, even with a deactivated.
Well, when they fucking killed Lee Rigby, then they charged the fucking police, and there was 12 police firearms officers, and they fired 17 rounds and hit him once in his fucking leg, and he was like 15 feet away.
I tell you what, mate. To be fair though, there was another one where they responded where they fucking drilled the blokes. There was like one bloke put like 100 rounds.
Is that after they spent all the money on these CTFSL teams though and started training them properly?
Yeah, probably. But I thought about it. I thought if I was a criminal, it wouldn't worry me at all. No. Because but again, it's like I'm thinking like if the Taliban can't kill me and the Jaish al-Mahdi can't kill me, I'm not that worried about.
And they've been born and fucking raised with this shit.
Yeah, I'm not that worried about coppers. Like, yeah. All right, sweet. We'll finish up. Well, I'll just edit this bit out. I'll go back into it. All right. Anyway, mate, we're gonna have to wrap it up because we've got a gym session to get to. So, mate,
sort them legs of yours out.
Wait, mate, it's my knees. MOD, if you're listening, you owe me for my knees because have you seen what's happening here? Because I haven't got because my knees are fucked. I'm getting the fucking piss ripped out of me. So thanks very much for that. Oh, bro, cheers for going in, mate. We'll do this again. I've enjoyed this. This is a good chat. I'm fucking ready for. I'm ready for a workout. I'm ready for some good scoff. We'll continue the chat over some fucking squats, shall we? But bro, yeah, thank you. Tell people where they can find you online, mate, if you want to be found.
At the British Rogue on Instagram. That's the only place I'm on.
At the British Rogue. Great name. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Please sign up to the newsletter at vsonpodcast.com and we will catch you next time. Love you. Bye.
Listen. Shout out Teaser. You told me not to worry, and you wouldn't break my heart. You told me you were sorry, yeah, my whole world fell apart. You said it's not my fault, and yeah, I've never done you wrong. I'm grinding to a halt, now I can see you're moving on. I promised I'd get better, and I told you things would change. You keep me to the gutter, yeah, I'll never be the same. I've gotta let you go, now live your life and spread your wings. And yeah, you put on quite a show, and pulled the puppet strings. And are you sure that you don't want me? Remember all the pain, or maybe you should thank me. It's your loss and my gain. I'm leaving now forever, I won't hang my head in the shame. But yeah, you've taken me for granted, and you should feel ashamed. You sold a dream to all of us, a dream that we'd all die for. A reason for us all to live and something we could fight for. I might just help a man up to his feet or hold a newborn, but no matter what I do, my hands remembering my rifle, yeah.
Life's hard, I know that, still wouldn't change shit. I wouldn't go back, yeah, I wouldn't go back. Feelings I hold back, memories fade, yeah, they go fast, yeah, they go fast. Good times to come and go, survive the highs and lows. Just take it step by step, I guess, yeah, I suppose. Good times to come and go, survive the highs and lows. Just take it step by step, I guess, yeah, I suppose.